Ah, yo, this tension's killing me. When's he actually gonna... We've got places to be here. Nah, you're mad. You can't actually be trying. How have you gone backwards? How did you get further away from the ball? Yo guys, it is your boy Niran here, and you are watching FTW. This of course is the series where I bring to you the best and more frequently the worst of what football has to offer during the last 7 days. But what's been kicking off in the world this week? Well, Logan Paul and KSI had the internet in the palm of their hands with this teaser on Twitter. Could it be a third fight? A sex tape? Yeah, they got into business together and created a new drink. This is a surprising partnership, I can't lie. Could you imagine Jake Paul and Deji? Jake Paul can't write up business plans, and I don't know if Deji can write at all, but at least it wasn't crypto related. Beast Entertainment present some kind of primate. Who drew this? Honestly, who at? From one type of fraud to another now, as Romelu Lukaku stirred serious drama amongst Chelsea fans, as a 3-week-old interview of him slating the club emerged. In it, he suggested he was frustrated by the tactical style of Thomas Tuchel being left out of the starting 11, and said that he'd love to return back to Inter. I've never seen post-nut clarity for a transfer before. This man's seen 1 3-degree rainy Thursday afternoon and said absolutely not, bro. I mean, that's not what he said. In actuality, he said, y'all be tripping, dog, if you think the homies be staying calm. Pyro gang. I swear this kid's from Belgium. No, sorry. This interview was nuts. He said he was gonna keep it professional, then proceeded to say nothing professional at all. And look, I've dealt with fan pressure and abuse from many different clubs, but none is so sweet as at Inter. I hope one day I can return and be abused by them. It says he's still an Inter player in his Facebook bio. Are you high, bro? The man's gonna be taking the tactics into his own hands from this point onwards. Thomas Tuchel's gonna have a difficult time during the next half-time team talk.
I'm overriding your decision as captain. Yes, I'm overriding your decision as captain. I'm leading the ship. I'm overriding.
And if he needs help becoming the boss around here, all he needs to do is contact Kepa. This is his speciality.
Because I've been here before. I'm a professional. This is what I do.
Now look, it's fair to say that Chelsea fans have not been impressed with his comments recently. Get Lukaku out the club.
You get out! You get out!
One young Lukaku fan was about to get zero sympathy, and I think most other fans can understand the frustration. You brought in a new £100 million man who's literally been here for, what, 5 months? Yep, alright, he's had a tough time, he's struggled through fitness for sure, but he's not been willing to fight for his place back in the side. Gary Neville was annoyed seemingly at Romelu's antics, even though he went on a golf course with Harry Kane and instigated the exact same comments. One side in the US is wanting to give him a way out with a loan deal, but just a few days later and Chelsea tweeted out a message, an apology from Romelu himself.
I'm sorry for the upset that I caused. You guys know the connection that I have.
Yep, I'm in position if he stops. Will it be accepted? Will Blues fans still find it disrespectful? Whatever the situation, at least it's better than a diss track.
Whoever said the legal was the easy way out can understand the mechanics of the workers of the underworld.
And at least maybe he can put things right in the future when he's next asked about it. Now thanks, Rom, obviously, for sitting down for an interview today. An interview. Well, let me tell you about the questions that I was asked at Inter. I mean, I missed those days so much. I could turn the mics off right now, because this is not... The Belgian was left out of Chelsea's most recent league game following those comments, and he missed a classic as Liverpool and Chelsea played out an unreal first half in particular.
Oh, that was crazy. I've never actually experienced that sort of atmosphere at a game.
The controversy started just 6 seconds in, as Sadio Mane tried to Batista bomb Azpilicueta. One man lost a 1,000 to 1 on bet that there'd be no yellow card in the first half. Meanwhile, Azpilicueta lost his peripheral vision. This first half was absolutely insane. It was frenetic, it was furious, and yet Rudiger still had time to try and mate with Mo Salah. My boss likes to play 3 at the back, but all you need is my 1 in your back. Hey yo, listen, fam. Even the commentary team couldn't hold it together. Gary Neville lost all composure. What's this guy like in normal situations, by the way? So I was thinking, do you want to take this to the bedroom? We've not even made it yet, and I'm still fully clothed. So, after Liverpool took a 2-0 lead, Mateo Kovacic scored probably the best volley of the whole season, before Virgil van Dijk running in rice pudding allowed an equaliser. It was like he was jogging to catch a closing door. This is what the big man was actually doing whilst Pulisic was running through on goal. I love James Milner. I really do. He's a model professional. He's so versatile, but I would prefer Harvey Elliott right now, and I think he's actually James Milner's grandson. I'd prefer Harvey Elliott right now, and he has one ankle. Even the referee was showing some tech in this one. Jurgen Klopp was forced to watch it at home, having tested positive for COVID. He must have been furious at his side bottling the lead. Who am I kidding? The man was watching Pointless on BBC One. Over to United now, and...
Who's in charge? Me or the devil? I think I'm in charge. Fucking
Wolves claim their first win at Old Trafford in over 40 years with a 1-0 victory over Ralph Rangnick's side. I'm not sure about this Ralph Don, you know. Add some glasses and a senior citizenship card to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and this is what you get. If he's the father of Klopp and Tuchel, I've got some bad news for everybody.
I'm sorry, you're not his biological father.
Maybe this guy is just a tutor. And if he is, then we need a school reunion because this guy's forgotten a lot of his teachings. He was just a substitute Don that wheeled out the TV. Look, it's okay. We just need to freshen him up because my man is still definitely using a brick phone trying to text off an Excel spreadsheet. He's not alone though. He's not being helped by his players here. Jadon Sancho's skill montage from this one is appalling. Marcus Rashford, look, God protect this man, but he's a meal deal Maluda. Luke Shaw is starving for points and sugar. The man hasn't had a dessert in months. And Aaron Wan-Bissaka's crossing like he's got pins and needles in both legs. But one man who can be proud of himself is Phil Jones, because after over 700 days out of the first team playing professional football, he actually put a solid performance in at the back. The guy survived 26 squad rebuilds and he still makes an appearance.
Where did that bring you? Back to me.
And think of it now, United fans. You've got a dedicated corner taker back again. And also, before we move on, big props to Wolves, man. They're slapping it at the moment. Their defensive record is class, and Bruno Laga's doing a great job right now. Arsenal were denied by a late Rodri goal as City kept their ridiculous win run going. But the Gunners will feel like they were robbed here.
from Norway is the strong.
New year, but no new VAR, as Arsenal were denied a pretty clear penalty early on Odegaard. Bernardo Silva turned into Michail Antonio v Palace. The referee even managed to block Martinelli when he was going for an open goal. Stuart Atwell must have got some Christmas cards, but it turns out they were all yellow ones. It left Mikel Arteta, who was also isolating at home, probably screaming down the mic at his assistant. And to be honest, it was a good afternoon for Arsenal fans, until Rodri brought out the Adebayor. This was a cold-hearted, disgraceful, antagonistic celebration, which is exactly why it's an absolutely beautiful shithousery award. To be honest, Arsenal actually battered City for portions of this game. They might have more AirPods than goals right now, but Lacazette stepped up for Aubameyang, who's probably somewhere getting locked out of Gabon's AFCON training camp on current form. Well, his mates for his club side aren't playing either midweek, after the EFL Cup semi-final first leg against Liverpool was postponed due to a rise of COVID cases for the Reds. And judging from social media, you'd think we'd have blown up Stockley Park. Yes, obviously now upgraded the equipment to the Nintendo Switch here. We're currently without several injured players, and we've got some going to African Cup of Nations. But the real problem is, we've had 3 days back-to-back of COVID cases. We've got literally no staff members to coach the team, and the training ground's been shut down, which is also where the youth players train that we keep getting told to play. We'd have had dinner ladies in the dugout, boys. Jurgen Klopp sat at home giving out orders using the stadium's big screen. Right, drop back. Also, Burnley a shit. I get it, you know, because last season Leyton Orient had to forfeit a game in the FA Cup against Spurs and it lost them a lot of TV rights, etc. But the rules, I guess rightly or wrongly, do literally change from the 5th round onwards. I don't know if that's because it's harder to reschedule ties for lower league sides, I don't know. It does seem unfair though, I will agree with that. In fairness, we've probably just seen that AFCON was coming and stored all the positive results from July. So the safest thing to do, really at this point, just postpone all of Africa. Aston Villa posted this as a reminder of their under-12s having to play against us in the cup last season. It's a shithousery award for them too. For me, the Arsenal fans were just vexed because now they've got to play our actual side instead of the nursery 11. Though for them, they'll now be playing 2 matches in less than 48 hours after this game being rescheduled. We're not going to talk about footballers' welfare there, or we can't expect Granit Xhaka not to do something foolish in 2 games that close together. James Milner's going to be the first man with a pensioner to ever work 2 days back to back. I mentioned African Cup of Nations, and Burnley fans are coming to terms with the pain of losing a player to this competition for the first time ever after finding out that Maxwell Cornet isn't from Ireland. Newcastle United made the first signing of their new era, bringing in right back Kieran Trippier from Atletico Madrid. I'm sure he'll be happy to be there until he sees Kieran Clark starting at centre back. His new teammate Alan Son-Maximin has been linked with a move away from the club in the media this week, though it seems like Alan himself isn't believing the one source credited here. And one Newcastle fan actually took a remote control to their last game to switch off TVs inside the stadium showing the game. I mean, he's probably doing them a favour based on current form. I mean, you haven't actually scored hit. Never mind. French journalist Roman Molina is on smoke again. I mean, not quite as smoky, but he did release a story this week. Apparently, PSG, back in the day, were forging autographs to be signed out to prize winners or people that had paid for them to be put onto shirts. So random dons were just faking everybody's signatures, apart from Edinson Cavani, who apparently insisted on making sure it was actually authentic. Could you imagine you've got one of those kits now hearing this? See, Jeffrey, I wondered why it said steward on the kit. Over in Chile, and the first child born in a hospital over there of the whole of 2022 was apparently named Griezmann Mbappe by its parents. This has gone too far. We have to stop this. He's not even French, for God's sake. In Spain, and this done by the sidelines, seem to be struggling to control the ball in La Liga. Nico Williams over at Athletic Club was almost the recipient of this horror challenge from the opposition. His older brother Iñaki took matters into his own hands. We've got this interesting technique of putting a player off before a penalty from this Valencia goalkeeper. And there's once again news surrounding Ousmane Dembele's future and current ongoing contract negotiations at the club. But why has this outlet used this picture of him from when he was an embryo? He's considering Xbox Live points, not a transfer. When one FT account asked Fabrizio Romano whether he'd be able to transfer in a girlfriend this season, Fabrizio's answer was pretty cut and dry. Our goal of the week this time comes from the Indian Super League, and it's for 2 main reasons. A, because it's actually just a really lovely move with a nice finish, but B, it's actually a record-breaking goal from Dave Williams, with this goal being the fastest in ISL history, coming in at just 12 seconds. It actually makes me want to vomit. No, Benfica Don, I didn't mean literally. Not in the Netherlands now, and we've got some beautiful news where an FC Emmen defender by the name of Jeff Hardeveld has announced that he's in a relationship with an official in the country called Shona Shukrala. Now, this doesn't seem all that dramatic, to be honest with you, but back in August, when Hardeveld's Emmen were playing FC Eindhoven in the 2nd division, the fullback was sent off in the 91st minute of the game. As he was walking off the pitch, he came across a 4th official who happened to be Shukrala. And this was the first time they met, and they've gone on to keep chatting, and now they're in a relationship. That is one way to meet your potential wifey. Hello all, and welcome to The Beautiful Game, the segment where we take a look at the poetic and brilliant side of the game that we love. We are back by popular demand for yet more glorious beauty. And that concludes The Beautiful Game. Closer to home now, and down in the Championship, Uncle Albert Adoma is putting on a show for the QPR fans. Hey, does this guy know that we've actually got a game to kick off here? At Northampton, and one fan wasn't happy with the opposition celebrating in front of him. He was about to take matters into his own hands. And down in the National League, Grimsby Town have got a new badge. I say new. They've got a badge. Over in America, and we've got the absolute worst miss you're ever gonna see. In Qatar, and the attendance may not have been too high, but the fans in the stadium were doing their best to make sure there was still an atmosphere. Over in Japan, and we've got yet another creative and actually working free kick technique here, as the takers' own players make their own wall, then duck out of the way. There were sad scenes in Brazil for goalkeeper Tomat, who playing for Copinha was up against Atletico MG at 0-0 in the second half. His side gave away a penalty, and he was brought off the pitch by his manager and replaced by someone who he clearly thought would be better suited to saving the penalty. Poor Tomat made his way off the pitch, was crying on the bench, and the worst part is the sub-keeper didn't even save the pen. Albion Rovers and Edinburgh FC had their game called off this weekend, so to pass the time they decided to get into a game of noughts and crosses. And in South Africa, how about this for some Sunday League skill? That is also completely unnecessary. Now though, for the moment you've all been waiting for, because over in Romania, now we've all learned in this series' history that Romania, they don't do things in an orthodox fashion. And that also spans to managerial appointments as well. FC Universitatea Craiova have been looking for a new manager recently. Now, step forward former Juventus defender Nicolo Napoli. And it's a job that he knows about pretty well, considering this is the 8th time he's going to have managed this club. Surely at this point you've learnt your lesson. It's not gonna work out there. Move on. Once again over in Qatar, and this forward is not fooling anybody with this dive. Do you reckon they saw anything, or get the fuck off the field? Over in Nigeria, and we've got the absolute highest technology for our VAR systems. Go! 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 Over in Northern Ireland, and when the Cliftonville tannoy system announced that a pair of glasses had gone missing, everyone jumped on a pretty obvious joke about the referee. Meanwhile, we've got perhaps the greatest game you're ever gonna witness down in the English non-league, where 3 Bridges were playing Whitehawk. I think these two sides are in the 8th tier. Now, the game finished 1-0. Doesn't seem all that impressive, but when you factor in the absolutely shambolic finishing going on during the game, a brawl that happened that saw not 1, not 2, but 3 players sent off at the same time. Even more terrible finishing. A player producing a rugby tackle and getting sent off. A player producing the worst tackle in human history and getting sent off. Before, in the final minute, one man had the opportunity to double 3 Bridges lead and with an open goal sent it out of the stadium. This is what football is all about. Now though, it's time for still 0-0, and you guys know the score by now. This is a segment of the show where I bring to the best of Sunday League and amateur football. And, you know, the previous stuff, you know, that was kind of semi-pro, so that doesn't quite count. But we're really dipping into the amateur levels with this one, because over at Dropship FC, in the 3rd division of Cornwall football, this is one of the wildest non-league hits you're ever gonna see. Yeah, definitely meant that one. On to the weird stuff though now. Over in the Bulgarian top flight, and a side called Bero are officially up for sale. When I say this, they're up for sale to anybody. They've literally just dropped their email address and said that anybody is welcome to bid for the club. So if you've got a few pounds spare, you might be able to do a real life Football Manager story here. Up in Scotland, and a side called Dory Thistle had to put their score updates on hold when the admin had to double as an ambulance driver to take a player who dislocated his thumb to hospital. In China, and their government have announced that they are banning players from having tattoos and showing them off even during games. Apparently, all tattoos for Chinese national team players, and I think just Chinese players generally speaking, in China, will have to be either removed or completely covered up. And finally, in the Northern Premier League, over at Clitheroe, their club's manager was videoed rescuing a sheep that was trapped in barbed wire on the way to their next game against Workington. bonding. Look, listen, it's team bonding before you've even arrived at the game, isn't it? That, though, is gonna wrap up football this week, and I hope you have enjoyed it. If you have, then feel free to slap a like on the video, and of course, subscribe if you're new to the channel. You can also follow me on social media. It is at the official FNG on Twitter and on Insta. But it's been a pleasure ranting at you guys today. Have a wonderful day. Enjoy yourselves. And goodbye.